Welcome to the oldest member of Mabar Printing. This is my favorite person, well actually press. His name is Chandler and Price. That's who made him, but I call him Chandler. He's my good old friend. Chandler and I have been together for a long time. Chandler was born in 1916, so that makes him over 100 years old. He came to Mabar Printing Service back in 1950. Now that's really strange because Mabar Printing Service never got started until 1960. So my dad had Chandler. Yes, I'll tell him. I will tell the whole story, okay? Just listen. I'll tell him. All right. My dad had Chandler down in my grandmother's garage on 304 North Main Street for 10 years. And he used to work at the newspaper and he would print like business cards and everything like that. And he had a name that he wanted to come up with. So him and my mom, my dad's name was William McCoy Mays. They called him Mac. My mom's name was Barbara Mays. She was Barbara Booker and she became Barbara Mays when she got married to my dad. They got married in 1950 and they bought Chandler from a place in Indiana and they moved it to my grandmother's garage and they called themselves Mabar Printing. M-A for Mac and B-A-R for Barb. They didn't really want to call it Mac Barb because Dad always thought that sounded like a restaurant. So yes, I know you're hungry, good Lord. But anyway, Chandler and I go way back. I started working with Chandler in 1964. I was 11 years old and I'm pretty sure, I can't say for certain, but I'm almost positive I was the youngest pressman in Northwest Ohio at that time. I was 11 years old. I used to run Chandler day and night. We used to number, perforate, print little business cards on him. We would print documents and invoices, you name it. Chandler did it all. Chandler was our press. So in 1960, December the 1st, my dad built the building down on 408 North Tar Street in the rear and called it Mabar Printing Service. Went into it full time, started doing work. Like I said, in 64, I was 11, I started running Chandler. So over the years, Chandler and I have got a kind of an understanding. Now I'm going to be talking to Chandler a couple minutes here, and you aren't going to be able to hear him, but only I can hear him because I've known him for 54 years. And that's over half of his life, because he was born in 1916. No, I'm not calling you old, I just mean you were born in 1916. Now, one thing about Chandler, and okay, Chandler, I will get to that right now so you don't have to be mad about it. Chandler wanted me to point out that we have all this newfangled printing equipment, all this digital stuff, and all these beautiful presses that make all these beautiful images. But Chandler's been doing that for a long time. Like I said, since 1960. Well, actually, since 1916. But one day at the shop, many years ago, we had a thunderstorm and lightning storm that came through our area and knocked out every bit of electricity for a day and a half. Couldn't get the power come back on. So I had this job I had to get done, and I had to get it done in a time limit, and I had to get it, even though, you know, I couldn't run the press, there was no electricity, I didn't know what I was going to do. So Chandler said, get off my duff, come on over here and turn the wheel. Now, like Chandler likes to always say, and I'll tell him, Chandler, yes, I'll tell him. Let me see your newfangled copiers do this with no power. And we could print. This was a little, this little lever here was the thing that you pulled back that would make the platen, this is the platen, go on to the chase. This is the chase, where you had your type. Right now I have two numbering machines in there. I used to number a lot of tags, a lot of forms and different things. In fact, the draw sheet is still the one that I used back in my last job around June of 2015. I haven't been able to fit. Yes, I know I missed you too. It's okay. I told you had to move because we had to sell the building. It'll be okay. Look, what do you mean I don't come around and visit you much anymore? I've been busy. I'm retired. Yeah, okay, I know I'm retired, so I should be able to spend more time with you. We can't do it anymore, okay? It's done. You're just here for people to look at and love. Okay, so that's what I did to get that job done. I had 500 of them to run. Now, that don't seem like a lot, does it? But when you think about doing this, this is what you call a feeder board. And usually they got it on backwards. People mess with this stuff. Anyway, you take the stuff from here. See, we wrote Chandler's initials right there. Chaz. Anyway, okay, that was a long time ago. I think I was probably 12 when I did that. But I did this, and guess how long it took me? 7.5 hours. Okay? But I'm proud of it, and so is Chandler. And like Chandler always says, you can have all these newfangled equipments, but nobody's going to print like I do. You're a good boy, Chandler. I still love you. But anyway, I miss Chandler a lot. I spent a lot of time. I can't tell you the countless millions of impressions I did. An impression is when you make one copy. That's called an impression. I wish I'd have kept track of it, but I'm going to guess I probably did maybe 1.5, 2 million impressions on this press alone. And that's saying a lot. Full speed, I could run Chandler at about 1,800 impressions per hour. That's 30 a minute. And at 11 years old, my dad had a guy come in, it was a printer, and I was to lunch, and he asked me, my dad, he said, what are you doing, Mac? And he said, oh, my son's running this tag job for me. Well, I'll run a few of them for him while he's at lunch. Well, he started the press up, and we had the throttle open. This is where you change the speed, full blast. I can't tell you what he said to my dad because there's some expletives in there, but he said, your son can't run this press that fast. So he went in and got me from lunch, and I come out and I showed him I could run it that fast, and he was amazed. The reason is it's supposed to max out at 2,400 impressions per hour, but when you put your stuff on the feeder board here and you feed it in and run it like this while you're standing right like, oh, let me turn my back to the cameraman, and you feed it like this. Why did they do this? You'd be over here like this, you know, you feed it in, take it out, feed it in, take it out. All right, then you have to go get more. Then that took time. Chandler, you're rusty. Okay, if I was 116 years old, I'd be rusty too. Well, anyway, you're rusty. But that took time, and so, but still 18 was, if you could do it 1,800 impressions an hour, you were really cranking them out. So there were some jobs that I couldn't run that fast because of the nature of the paper. Some of it was flimsy paper and it was harder to feed into. These are called gauge pins. I don't know if you can see them back there. Well, what they did is you would take your job from the feeder board and put it in here, and the register, you could put it like if you had a form and you were putting the number inside a box, it would, you know, when you set this up right and got it all anchored down. I'm sorry about this. Yes, Chandler, I know it should have been changed, but I don't have any more temping paper. Back in the day, they had a paper called temping paper, which was an oil-based paper. It was actually made with oil. And it's kind of, if you want to liken it to something, it'd be kind of like wax paper, but not, it would be more thicker than that, and it would have a more of a shiny surface to it so you could get an easy feed off of it. You know what I'm saying? It would just go, phoo, 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 phoo. These things here, sometimes when you perforated a job or something like that, you would have to put rubber bands across these things. So when the paper would come up and get perforated, it wouldn't stick. And if it would stick and you had ink on here, it would roll up into the rollers. And I'll tell you, I had a couple of those happen, and that's really a big mess. What do you mean it wasn't a big mess? It was for me. I had to clean the press up. Oh yeah, you like bats. I know, and you need one bad, because look at Chandler, you're filthy. But anyway, Chandler is a great guy. I've always loved him. I miss him to death. I wish I could work with him. There was a time in my life when I would say in a 7-day week, I would be running Chandler 6 to 7 days a week. And I miss that. Do you got any questions you want to ask me about Chandler?
Have you and Chandler ever had a fight?
Yes. Oh yes. Like the time I was running the big job. Big job. So Chandler decides I don't like my belt anymore, so he kicks his belt off. Now there's a belt right over here. Right where Rachel is. And if that belt gets broke or gets thrown off with the motor and everything, you can't even roll Chandler because it's not gonna work. So Chandler was pretty greasy that day, and he kept blaming me because he was greasy because I greased him the day before. But I said, you know, Chandler, I got to get this belt back on. And of course, Chandler did nothing to help me. I did it all. And I finally got the thing back on, and I had grease from the tips of my fingers to the bottoms of my elbows. So I had to go wash up. That took me a half an hour just to wash up. Come back out and start running it. I get running about 20 minutes. Guess what? Chandler got mad and he kicked the thing off again. So after about 2 hours of messing with this, I just went home and took a nap and come back later that night and I got it working. That's one of the big, I don't tell you about the little ones because they weren't too bad. We still love each other. Any more?
Did you say that he bit you one time?
Oh yeah! Oh my, you gotta come up here. All right? This is cool. When you put your paper in here like this, you gotta bring your hand back. Because if this would close, I'm not gonna close it on my hand. Yes, Chandler, I know you'd like to bite me again. You're not going to. You get your hand, say you get it caught between here and here, that closes with 10 tons, 20,000 pounds of pressure. Think what that would do to your hand. Well, one night I was running Chandler and I got the thing in, it was a little crooked. I put my hand back in real quick, and as I put my hand in, I was bringing it out. I didn't get my thumb out. And it closed right in here like this. And my dad years ago, he put a breakout. It's called a breakout, where that if you would get your hand or anything caught in between there, that it would make this go away instead of the pressure closing your thumb in there, which would have smashed my thumb, and I probably never would have been able to run Chandler again. So I was lucky, and I always said that was the night that Chandler bit me.
All right, I think that's it.
All right, thanks. I love my press, and thank you very much, and I hope you have a good day. Bye.
Thank you for coming.
Yep. Hi again. Rick Mason Chandler here. Some people look at this and say, man, that's a massive piece of equipment. I'll bet it weighs a lot. Anywhere between 18 and 1,900 pounds. And some people want to know how we got it from my grandma's garage to my dad's house. My grandma's garage was in the rear of 304 North Main Street, and my dad's garage or business, Mabar Printing, was at 408 North Tar Street in the rear. They both were in the rear. So the only way they could get it down there at that time in 1960 was to take roller bars and lift it up on a roller bar with a crowbar, and they rolled it down the alley. Now let's see, they went straight out and turned right by the Church of Christ. They went down and turned to the left. Then they rolled it down about a block to the next division of the alley where you could turn, and they would turn, and that part of the alley would take you right down to 408 North Tar Street, which in turn would be, behind the house. Well, the only problem was when you come to the Tar Street, it wasn't just a straight shot across. It was like you come up on this alley and then all of a sudden you dip down, go across, and dip up. Well, when they started to do that, they had to make sure nobody was coming for a long time. They had to almost block off the traffic because they couldn't get it they had to do it very, very slow, because if the rollers would come out, then they would have to start all over again. It took them approximately, I think, 6 hours to do it. I was only 7, so I don't really remember the whole thing. But they got Chandler in the building. We had a great big back door, kind of like if you want to show them that door right there, at the back of the shop. And we brought Chandler in. We put Chandler down in the shop at 1960, and that's where he lived for 45 years or so, until 55 years, until we moved him down here. Now, moving him down here was, in some respects, a little bit harder, but it was easier too, because it only took 3.5 hours. But what we did, myself and one of my daughters, Courtney Mays, and my son Brad Mays, and his best friend Charlie Johnson, and Courtney's boyfriend Chad Arnold, got this up on wheels. We got it up on a like what you put under a car, a set of wheels on back and front, and then we rolled it out the back of the shop and we winched it up onto a trailer, which was on the back of a pickup truck. And then it took a while because, like I said, it's almost 1,900 pounds. And we wheeled that thing back up on that trailer, and you should have seen that trailer. Okay, but we got it, and we come real slow. And I still remember, it was in August of 2015, and we got it up here, and I'm not going to get emotional or nothing, but it was really a sad time for me, because I was happy and sad. I was glad that I didn't have to try to scrap Chant. No, I wasn't going to scrap you. Oh my gosh. I never thought about scrapping you, and I wasn't going to sell you. Let's face it, you wouldn't bring much money. What do you mean you bring a lot of money? Not anymore, Chandler. Okay, let's not argue right now. We're doing a film here. Okay, can you stop? Just calm down. It's okay. Gosh, Chandler gets so emotional. So we got him off of that, and we rolled him back in here, and I think I had a picture of that. I don't know where it went to. But anyway, it was a good time. And we got him up here, and that was I think it was April 15th, 2015, and this is where Chandler's lived. Yes, and I've only seen you 3 times since you've lived here. I know it's almost been 3 years, but I'm busy. What do you mean? I'm busy. I know I'm retired, but I'm still busy. Well, anyway, Chandler, I still love you. This is my granddaughter, Rachel, in case you haven't met her, Rachel Krause. And this is my good friend, Wyatt. Wyatt's a good friend of mine. So anyway, say goodbye, Chandler. Chandler? Okay. The only way Chandler can wave is by doing this. So he's going to wave to you with his plaque. Well, he's saying goodbye.
Oh.
Good night, Chandler. I love you. Thank you.